Goldplat is a small but profitable African gold recovery services company listed on AIM and headquartered in South Africa. It has market-leading operations in both South Africa and Ghana. Goldplat's strategy is focused on utilizing its robust cash flow generated by its gold recovery operations to self-fund sustainable growth. It is hoping to expand the niche gold recovery business model and potentially move into platinum recovery as well. GDP is currently selling its Kenyan gold mine Kilimepesa to Mayflower. I'm delighted to be joined from Johannesburg by Werner Klingenberg, the CEO at Goldplat. Welcome, Werner.
Okay, thank you, Donald, and thank you for everybody that's joining us tonight. I really appreciate your time. I see I've got the privilege of closing out the session today. I think the purpose for tonight for me is really just to give everybody an overview of Goldplat and Goldplat PLC, give them a bit of history on the company. And I think more importantly, to highlight what has been the strategic changes of the last year. Now, for those that don't know, Goldplat PLC group currently comprises two niche gold recovery businesses, as well as one held for sale mining asset in Kenya. We've got a few other exploration assets in Ghana. But before we go into too much detail, I think it's just important to highlight some history. Goldplat PLC in the current form has been around for more than 20 years. We've been listed on the London Stock Exchange in 2006. And the strategy when we listed was basically to expand the current recovery operations in South Africa and to Ghana. And the main aim was really to build a junior gold mining group in Africa from the working capital from the recovery businesses. Now, for various reasons, which I'm not going to go into too much detail tonight, the mining and exploration segment never really managed to realize any profits, although a significant amount of capital was put into the segment, more than $10 million. And a lot of that actually came from profits in the recovery businesses. Now, in 2019, we've decided to put our mining asset in Kenya under care and maintenance and start looking for a buyer or external investor. And since then, we've actually signed the binding term sheet for the sale of Kilimepesa, where we will sell 100% of our share in Kilimepesa. And I think with the imminent sale of Kilimepesa, we can now refocus our attention to the recovery business, which really has been the backbone of the group since we've listed. Now, the remainder of the presentation I'm going to take you through now is mainly focused on this recovery business. We'll deal a bit with the binding term sheet in the middle of the presentation, but that is basically where the focus is going to be. Let's see. So I think to start off, I just would like to give you some sort of an overview of where we currently are. The group is cash generative from continued operations. I'm referring to the recovery operations in South Africa and Ghana. We, at 30 June 2020, sat on a cash balance of £3 million. The two operations combined achieved the operating profit of £5 million. And that is against the current market cap. I'll give you the detail later, of around 12.4 million as per the share price today. And I think we've got a clear development strategy of how we want to increase production in this recovery businesses. We will be focusing on building our strategic and key relationships in West Africa and Ghana, West Africa and South Africa. And we will also look at obviously exploiting our remaining resources in the group. We've got a JORC-compliant resource of around 82,000 ounces of our tailings facility in South Africa, which is on 1.4 million tons at a grade of 1.7 grams a ton. Then furthermore, we've got a significant geographic reach. We source material in South Africa, West Africa, and as far as South America. And I must say we're making every year more and more progress in South America, signing up new mining companies and groups. We also have some commodity diversity, although really PGM still remains an area we would like to diversify further, and I'll deal with that a bit later. We keep on saying we're a niche recovery business, and I'll indicate when we look at our processes why we say so. But more importantly, we really have an experienced management team that's been with us for a long period of time. As I said, I mean, we've been in operations for 20 years. We built up a team that really understands the recovery business, which is quite unique because we work with complicated material, which is discarded from the mining plants and operations. And that's really where we see our value at ease at the end of the day. I think importantly, to stay in front of the curve, we focus on continuing upgrading our infrastructure to improve our efficiencies and recoveries. We spend a lot of money also just on repair and maintenance to make sure our plant availability is always up to standard. And I think when we also talk about investing into upgrading the infrastructure, it is important that our focus really at this moment is to make certain changes to give us the ability to actually go and process even more contaminated material that's lower grade, and in so increase the amount of material out there that's available for us to process over the long term. If we quickly look at some data, I indicated our share price is currently 7.38p, giving us a market capitalization of just over £12 million. And you'll see over the year we had quite an upswing in the share price. And that's really on the back of two things. I think with us announcing that we're moving away from mining and exploration, with the increase in the gold price, and also the 30 June 2020 performance resulted in this uptake. I see we came down over the last few weeks, and I think that's mainly related to the gold price movements. That's been quite erratic, but it's still at very good levels for us. For those that's not familiar with the group, we've got quite an experienced board that's been with the company, most of them for more than 5 years, and we've got quite a good set of experience of the London markets and mining inside our non-executive board, led by Matthew Robertson as our non-executive chairman. If we then move forward, we can quickly, as I mentioned, we've got the South African and Ghana operations, and in 2020 we achieved operating profits in South Africa of £5.6 million. And when I give these numbers, obviously in comparison with our current market cap, I think there is definitely still a lot of value in our share price. In Gold Recovery Ghana, we achieved profits of before tax and finance cost of £724,000. I think this for me is the most important slide that I would like to share with you today. If we look at Goldplat recovery, the question is really what we do. And Donald, when I actually listened at the previous presenters, I thought to myself, although we are a producer of metals, and we produce gold and PGMs, I think where we differ is we don't necessarily have a resource as the other presenters indicated, and our resource really remains our strategic relationships and our contracts with the blue chip gold producers in industry. And with that, we don't have necessarily a specific ounce figure around resource. However, we also don't have the mining risk associated to extracting the ore from the ground. Now, if we indicate what our clients is, already said blue chip gold producers, and that relates to Southern Africa as well as West Africa, although we've sourced material out of North Africa as well. And then obviously as far as South America, we brought material in out of Brazil, Uruguay, and are looking to source material out of Peru as well. Actually, with the current shipping fees, it's not at all expensive to move these byproducts from South America to Ghana to process. And that has actually helped us quite a lot in terms of maintaining our current operating margins in Ghana over the last period. If we look at what the materials is we process, if I talk about byproducts, now if you're familiar with the gold industry, activated carbon is utilized to extract gold out of ore. Now, in any mining operation, you have spent carbon where the actual activated carbon started to abrade and is screened out, but that still contains value and gold on it. We also generate value from mill liners, which comes out of the mills, and that is impregnated with gold during use. A big part of our revenue and margins is also coming from wood chips in South Africa, where with all the underground mining operations in South Africa, there's a lot of wood support being used, and this is normally blasted and comes up with the ore and screened out in the plant for various reasons. And we then take these wood chips and then process and dispose of them in an environmental friendly manner through our circuits. We also then have we really process any byproducts that is gold bearing that comes out of the mining operations. But if we look at what is the most important for the group, it comes down to fine carbon, wood chips, and then especially in South Africa, we do a lot of cleanups of old mine sites where you find flay areas or other areas that's been contaminated and that is gold bearing, that we process through our own CIL circuits. Now, if we look at our processes, I think what really makes us a niche operation at the end of the day is that we've got various types of plants, and we've got more than, well, we've got 4 CIL circuits just in South Africa. We've got incineration capacity, we've got a wash plant, spiral circuit, shot blasting circuits, and I've already mentioned incineration. We've got the rotary kilns, we've got FBIs, and flotation and elution circuits in South Africa. So the nice thing about this is that we can batch process the various material, so we don't need to mix it. And normally what you'll find is material we receive, we don't just process through one specific circuit. Each material is evaluated separately and follows a different route. Some material might go through 2 different circuits to extract the value, whereby certain material might go through 5 processes to make sure we extract the maximum value of gold out of that material. And after it's gone through these processes, the revenue is really generated from gold that is smelted in gold doré bars or silver doré bars. We also generate PGM concentrates as well as ash and other gold concentrates that we can provide to the smelters for final recovery of gold. I think we also like to look at ourselves as a green gold producer. In the end, we do provide value offering to deal with the mine's byproducts and waste, that if we haven't taken it away, it would have ended up on stockpile or on tailings facilities that would have required rehabilitation in the future. And we give the mines the opportunity to actually minimize that footprint during their current operations. We've been selected as a green economic mark issuer on AIM. And then if we also look at our sourcing methods, because we deal with sourcing of gold, not just from blue chip mining operations, but also from any area organization that requires us to clean up old mine sites. We make sure we go through proper responsible gold accreditation of those clients before we enter into any contract with them. And we also audit it in terms of those guidelines on a regular basis. We've also signed up, and we are partner of the Minamata Convention, trying to limit and obviously the use, well, we don't use any mercury, but also trying to see where we can assist. We've been in discussions with the Ghana government to see if there's ways we can assist them to limit the mercury currently going into areas because of illegal mining, but that is still a process that needs to be completed. Okay, so if we look at where we are currently and where we want to go, I think for us, the key will always be to obviously strengthen and increase our relationship in industry. And then that's where our resource is. If we look in South Africa on the low-grade material, I'm happy to say that we've got more than 2 years worth of supply of material for our low-grade circuits. Wood chips, which is quite a key supply, we've got over close to 18 months of material, either on contract or on site for processing. And then on the byproduct side, that is obviously from current arisings from mines as and when they produce it. And there we've got most of the mining operations in South Africa that signed up with us, and we get regular feed from on a monthly basis. For me, what my aim is going forward is to try and secure at least 5 years for these various circuits, to be able to come to market and say, well, we will be able to repeat what we've done in the last year for the next 5 years based on sources that's available to us. And that's a position we've never been in before in our history. And I think that's really key for us to maximize value out of the share price for our investors in the future. In terms of diversifying for growth, one of our key strategies remains increasing our footprint in terms of the processing of PGMs. We're currently busy with some campaigns for PGM producers where they've got high-grade concentrates they produce and looking for a different avenue to create value from that. And further, obviously one of our biggest value adds in the future would be the monetizing of the tailings storage facility in South Africa. We have spoken about the JORC compliant resource. That JORC resource was done in 2016. So obviously the first question from any investor would be, well, if you're sitting with that on your doorstep above ground, why have no value been extracted from it before? I think firstly, it's actually our current tailings facility. So we need to secure a different tailings facility before we can start mining and monetizing that TSF. We're currently in process because this TSF has reached capacity, and we'll need to move off the site quite soon. So we are looking to establish a new tailings facility adjacent to the current facility within the next 6 months, and that will then start giving us the ability to monetize this TSF. That being said, what we will require is to have a larger tailings facility than the one we currently got licensed. We want to get licensed for. So firstly, we need to secure a final deposition site where we can deposit this tailings facility. And secondly, we will need to construct the optimal plant to process this tailings facility at the right capacity. As indicated, it is our tailings facility. So the material in there has already been processed, and we're going to need to have different and unique processes and probably higher capacity requirement to process that optimally. We're still currently evaluating what those processes will exactly entail going forward. And so that being said, for us, considering these various options, we still believe the best value will really be to look at a third party to partner with to process the tailings facility. Somebody that already has a plant or capacity and that can be adjusted to fit the processing route we will decide on, and also that's already got a sufficient tailings facility for this material to be deposited on. So that's really where the aim is now. And once we've established the optimal route to process, we'll come to market and we'll be able to give them a lot more information in terms of, well, what is the exact value we can generate from this tailings facility. If we then look at Ghana going forward, it's important to understand how Ghana differs from South Africa. In South Africa, I indicated we have CIL circuits that process lower grade material from the old mining sites that's been generated over the last 100 years of gold mining in South Africa. In Ghana, we do not have a CIL circuit, and also there's not really that amount of old mine sites that is available to process. There is, however, a lot of artisanal tailings available to process, and we'll talk about that shortly. But in Ghana, we only focus on fine carbons, mill liners, and other byproducts, excluding wood chips and low-grade surface sources. And that is all sourced from current arisings from mines. So in Ghana, it's even more key to build relationships, not just with the mining groups, but also with the governments. If we want to be able to secure and export material out of all the ECOWAS and West African countries, we've made good progress on that over the last 12 months. We've signed contracts and was able to export material out of Mali. We've got another trial that we're currently doing in Mali, and we then hope to expand from there into Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso. And again, there we need to work with the mining groups and with government to find the right process of exporting material, and that's currently where we're investing a lot of our time in. I think in Ghana, we can't talk just about West Africa. We've been able to secure new clients in Brazil over the last 3 months, which is encouraging. And with that, South America is also becoming more and more important in terms of the growth in Ghana. I've already indicated the artisanal tailings that is available in Ghana to process. Now, for those that is familiar with Goldplat and that's been following the story for some time, will be aware that in 2012, 2013, Ghana actually created significant profits from the processing and toll treatment of artisanal tailings, which has subsequently been stopped because we didn't have proper tailings facility for processing of this type of material. And secondly, we will also stop to toll treat the material through one of the mines in the area. We're looking to see if we can restart this in one way or another, and we're currently in discussion with the Minerals Commission, and to see if there's certain ways we can actually restart. We don't expect to make similar profits than what we did in 2012, 2013, but we believe we can still achieve enough value to really support.
Werner, I'm very sorry to interrupt you there. We're absolutely running out of time. One more minute.
1 more minute. Okay, thank you very much. So yes, we want to create value from the recovery businesses. I think quickly just want to go forward, and maybe we can handle the Kenya sale as part of the questions answer sessions, because I just want to deal with what basically the recovery business is for us going forward. I've got a quick slide here that's been extracted from our numbers for the last five years, indicating just the revenue and the operating profit before finance cost we managed to generate from Ghana and South Africa combined. And you'll see that we've on average been able to achieve around about 4 million pounds profit from these operations, if we exclude listing costs and obviously the losses that was incurred on the mining and exploration segment. So we're quite confident that if we follow the strategies that we've discussed, that we will be able to replicate this in the future, and that will, we believe, put us in a position to generate cash and to declare dividends. We want to become dividend declaring in the future again, as we don't need to invest into mining and exploration. We will be able to share some of the value out of the recovery business, and that will definitely be the intention. And that's basically it, Donald.
Okay, lovely. Gosh, there was a lot in there, Werner. That was a lot of detail in there. Can I just take you back quickly to Kilimepesa? I'm sorry we didn't manage to get to the Kilimepesa slide. So
yeah,
could you explain what Kilimepesa is for the uninitiated, and
I mean,
why you're selling that gold mine in Kenya?
Yes, I mean, Kilimepesa is the only exploration property that was developed into an operating mine. And it remains quite an exciting prospect. I think the reality is that over the years we did not invest enough into capital. I mean, if you want to really be aggressive and mine, you need to invest the capital in the beginning, and then to extract value later on. In 2016-17, we increased the capacity of the plant, but unfortunately, we didn't put the same amount of capital into the mine. And that just doesn't allow us to really extract the value we should. And that's why we decided, well, it's better to get external investor or buyer to put in that capital and to really extract the value. Now, the current deal on the table is that for the sale of 100% of Kilimepesa, we will take 1.5 million worth of value shares in a listed entity that will end up holding that investment in Kilimepesa. So that gives us the ability to, in the future, really get the upside from Kilimepesa we believed we could have achieved if we put in the necessary capital. Per the agreement, Mayflower will need to invest $4 million into that business. And furthermore, we will also get 1% net royalty fee, capped at $1.5 million as well.
Okay, Chris Reed would like to know, when do you expect the sale of Kilimepesa to be completed? Which is a fair question.
Yes, I think initially we were quite optimistic when we indicated we wanted to get it done by the 31st of September. I think there's been various reasons outside of our or Mayflower's control for us to complete it as yet. I think since New Year we've made a lot of progress, and we're quite confident we'll still be able to get something done by 28 Feb.
Do you agree with the investors on the bulletin boards, which say the sale has effectively been overhanging the share price for quite some time, and that the share price will take off once you get the sale closed?
Yes, Donald. I mean, the reality is we're still the owner of Kilimepesa, and we still, I mean, the benefit of the deal is that currently Mayflower just still advance on loan basis and working capital to support just the tailings processing we're currently still conducting in Kilimepesa. But until we haven't completed the sale, I think we will still have that overhang. I mean, we've been making $1 million or £1 million losses for the last probably 4 years at Kilimepesa. And investors is looking forward for us to move away from that and really just focus on the recovery business.
Okay, James Alexander wants to know who, you said in terms of the tailings facility, you want to work with a third party. Sounds fair enough, but who are the major players you might consider? And are you in talks with these folks?
We obviously looking at various options at this moment. We've got not a lot of people that's in our vicinity that we can talk to. So that's one of the options. The other option is obviously to look at processing it ourselves. We'll just need to secure a tailings facility close to our premises. And I think constructing the plant will not be a problem. I mean, the size of the resource is of such a nature that if we need to construct a separate plant, I think it will be more than justified.
Okay, James Alexander, this is probably a good point to end on. What are the growth prospects for Goldplat? What percentage of the addressable market do you have, and what percentage share could you potentially get? Like an investment summary question, really.
Yes. I think, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can answer that question. I mean, in West Africa, there's still a lot of potential to grow the recovery business. And as I said, I mean, we haven't unlocked Burkina Faso, we haven't unlocked Ivory Coast, we've got potential in Senegal. Obviously, South America, we only started now. But if the way I look at the recovery business and value for the investor, really, I believe if we can achieve the sale of Kilimepesa, if we can build a resource and then continue to generate profits at the current level, I believe the investors will really see growth in terms of the share price. Then obviously we've spoken about increasing our capacity to process PGMs, which has got a lot of possibility if you consider South Africa is the biggest PGM producer in the world. And largely, obviously, if we start processing the tailings facility, there's a lot of value and growth we're going to get from that, probably for 5 or more years, depending on how quickly we decide to process it at the end. So yes, there's a lot of opportunities there. And I think, I mean, further to that, we'll also need to look at, as I indicated, to increase the plant's ability to process lower grade material. And by doing that, we can increase the resource we can handle, and we can give longevity to the business as well.
Werner Klingenberg, CEO at Goldplat, thank you very much indeed for joining us from Johannesburg. That's been fascinating. Thank you so much.